Hey guys, welcome back to the Oilers Fanatic. Today, I want to take a look at some goalie targets for the Edmonton Oilers. We've discussed this on and off throughout the summer, and I did a feature video on John Gibson back around the start of the season. But I thought with the recent concerns around Mike Smith, it was a good time to do a refresher and take a look at some possible options for the Oilers if they want to address the goaltending. We've assumed the most likely time for the Oilers to acquire a goalie was around the trade deadline, but the uncertainty around Mike Smith might force the Oilers to pull the trigger earlier. So far this season, Mikko Koskinen has performed very well, and even though he lost both his starts, I've liked what I've seen from Stuart Skinner. However, I would like to see Skinner return to Bakersfield sooner rather than later, because I feel he will benefit more from regular starts and playing time. If the belief remains that Mike Smith will return soon, I think the Oilers will stick with the Koskinen-Skinner tandem. They are 11-3-0 and don't need to make a panic move. However, if Mike Smith will be out long term, or the Oilers want to upgrade later in the season, here are some options they can consider. I will be covering the goalie targets in a two-part series, looking at 10 targets in total. I will be comparing each goaltender against Mikko Koskinen, as each goalie would likely be replacing him or working in a tandem with him if Mike Smith ends up being out long term. Current records, goals against average, and save percentage are as of November 15th, 2021. Here is part 1, looking at the first 5 targets. Thomas Greiss of the Detroit Red Wings. Greiss's contract expires at year's end, and his current cap hit is $3.6 million. In 8 games played so far this season, Greiss is 4-4 with a goals against average of 3.09 and a save percentage of .909. Compared to what the Oilers have right now, Mikko Koskinen is 9-1 with a goals against average of 2.74 and a save percentage of .915. Greiss wouldn't be an upgrade on Koskinen to this point, but if Mike Smith is out, he is a reliable goaltender to work in a tandem with Koskinen. There is the Detroit connection with Ken Holland to consider as well. I like that Greiss is an expiring deal, and the Oilers have freedom at season's end to pursue different options. Whether he's moved for Koskinen later in the year or replacing an injured Mike Smith, his $3.6 million cap hit would be manageable. I think Greiss would be a strong option for the Oilers to consider. Option 2, Marc-Andre Fleury of the Chicago Blackhawks. Fleury's contract expires at year's end, and his current cap hit is $7 million. In 10 games played so far this season, Fleury is 3-7 with a goals against average of 3.50 and a save percentage of .897. Compared to Koskinen's current record this season, this doesn't seem like an upgrade. But we need to keep in mind that Fleury won the Vezina last year, is a proven Stanley Cup champion, and has been playing on a terrible Blackhawks team. His play has also improved as of late. If the Oilers were to acquire Fleury, due to his high cap hit, Koskinen would almost certainly have to be going the other way, and some other cap gymnastics would be required to make everything fit. Some retention would likely have to happen on Chicago's end. Fleury and Koskinen both have clauses in their contracts that help them dictate where they go, so there would be a lot of moving pieces to this trade if it were to happen. We also have to consider that Fleury wasn't happy about his move to Chicago and having to move his family around. He might prefer to just stay where he is, or if he does move, he might want it to be somewhere closer or more familiar, like Pittsburgh for example. At the end of the day, I'm not sure this trade is realistic, but I would be for it if the Oilers can find a way. Option number 3, Anton Khudobin of the Dallas Stars. Khudobin is signed for this year and next with a cap hit of $3.33 million. In 6 games played so far this season, Khudobin is 3-2-0-1 with a goals against average of 3.03 and a save percentage of .897. Compared to Koskinen's current record this season, this isn't an upgrade at the present time. But like Thomas Greiss, if Khudobin is playing in a tandem with Koskinen, it would give the Oilers more reliable goaltending. If the Oilers are picking up Khudobin, they are committing to him for a couple years and are likely running him in a tandem with Mike Smith next season. Khudobin can also submit 4 teams he can't be traded to. With the Oilers' success so far this season, I can't see the Oilers being one of those 4 teams, but you never know. His cap hit should be manageable, provided Koskinen goes or Smith is on IR. Khudobin is a strong goalie with some playoff success. As long as the cost isn't too great, I'd be okay with it. Sticking with the Dallas Stars, option number 4, Braden Holtby. The Stars have Ben Bishop on long-term injured reserve and are currently running 3 goalies with Khudobin, Holtby, and Jake Ottinger. Ottinger is their future, so they are hanging on to him, and when Bishop does return, injury concerns will likely keep him out of trade talk. It's most likely the Stars are looking to move Khudobin or Holtby. Holtby's contract expires at year's end with a cap hit of $2 million. Holtby currently has a record of 2-4-0-1 with a goals against average of 2.54 and a save percentage of .918. Holtby and Koskinen have similar numbers to this point, but Holtby has played fewer games. If he keeps up this strong play, Holtby would appear to be a strong addition, but I think in the end, the Stars look to keep him. With his cap hit and expiring contract though, he would be one of the better options for the Oilers to consider. Option number 5, Joonas Korpisalo of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Korpisalo's contract expires at year's end with a cap hit of $2.8 million. Korpisalo currently has a record of 2-3 in 5 games played with a goals against average of 3.56 and a save percentage of .897. Comparing their numbers, Korpisalo is not an upgrade, and to me only makes sense as someone to run in a tandem. But even then, he's not giving me a ton of confidence. He does have a lower cap hit and expiring contract, which are positives, but he's struggled for a few seasons now and has a lot of red flags. Unless it's an emergency situation, I don't see the Oilers going for Korpisalo at this point. This concludes part 1 of my goalie target series. Look for part 2 covering 5 more targets on Wednesday. That's all for today, guys. Let me know what you think of the list so far in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will do my absolute best to keep you up to date on all the latest Oilers news, rumors, and game reviews. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan. Have a great night, guys. Take care.